primarily what Cafe, with its fresh blood to the map pool, has offered. Maverick is taken out of the equation straight away. Obviously, what we saw from G2 was much more convincing attacks than defenses. So we'll see if obviously they can kind of set themselves up in a better stead before they swap over. Jackal gets dropped too. That's going to make the roaming game from Jaeger a little bit trickier to keep a kind of control over. And now it's down to what defender they wish to take out as well.
Mira Echo is kind of expected. Mira Maestro, really. Either Echo or Maestro, I think, is going to be the last ban here for Existence. But overall, not too surprising bans. You could argue about the Mavericks. That's a bit of a weird one. Maverick isn't really seen a whole lot on a map like Cafe. So I'm curious to why we would see the ban from it.
Yeah, I was trying to think of where they're placing him or where they kind of worry about the Maverick on this. I guess maybe they... I don't know, really. It could be a comfort thing, but there's not too many holds that you're generally doing in Cafe where the Maverick hole and the Maverick kind of attention is what's going to bring you down. Especially, obviously, when you've still got Hibana and you've still got Thermite on the board as well, and we know that generally everyone in these lineups can handle those operators pretty well. Bar and Cocktail, we're going to head up to first, seeing a couple of ACOGs on the side of Existence. So I guess they're going to try and look for those long firefights. They've kind of become a bit of a staple over this top floor.
A lot to play with whenever you look at the kind of angles that you can maneuver with. Sometimes we've even seen teams open up not only just the freezer walls, but even the ones further than that that lead in towards the cigar. So there is like mad angles that teams have kind of went for, and I kind of know that G2, they are a team that have kind of done some of those strategies whenever Mirror's available, but since it's not, I don't really think we'll see that on their half. Perhaps we may see some more creative stuff from Existence, but that's only time will tell, Fluke.
Only time will tell. Wispy sent themselves up, obviously. As we said before, Existence had a very good showing on the previous map. Everyone kind of looks at this matchup, sees G2 in the kind of game against Existence, which outside of the Spanish League and people that pay attention to CL qualifiers and other such things wouldn't really know too much. They've put up some pretty good fights against other notable teams, but it's G2 you're up against. You're up against the best in the world in a lot of people's books, and at one point the best in the world in every book, and now it's just a matter of seeing if they can re-find former glory. Previous map, as we said, didn't look so hot on their defenses.
Setup from Existence, again, very similar to what we've seen from their kind of cash defenses, if you look back at Clubhouse. Bringing the Maestro for a bit of intel, and even the Valkyrie also added in, and still no IQ from G2 being brought in, so those Valkyrie cameras could be a bit of a nuisance, and of course you have the smoke, which is common, Kaid as well. Intriguing one whenever Thatcher's still on the board. Curious to see kind of what they have in store with that, because I don't really think Kaid's going to have that much of an impact.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing about the operator selection so far, is I'm kind of just, in my head I'm picturing where they're going to throw this stuff. And it's nice to see when pros bring out these strategies and these ideas that I would never think of, the common person would never kind of think of.
Are they going to go for a quick hot breach where they drop Skyline hatches and have, I think it's going to be Ying swinging in towards that new balcony? Is this what they may be on for? Because they kind of set up, it looks as if it's going to be the case, and they've got rid of ADSs, and this pretty much gives Uno the clear away. They've even hit their window. They've used the Sophia chart to open up the window for him. Here comes the Candelas and the swing in from the Ying, but it's just been shut down straight away. Karibo and the Jaeger jumps onto it, and well, a nice attempt from G2, but Existence read that perfectly, and now Pengo 1v5. You may be good, but I don't think you're that good, as Smoke just, he didn't even know where he was.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those trademark pushes that we've seen them run a couple of times, and unfortunately it just it didn't quite make its way this time. Maybe the Candelas didn't quite catch the bodies they needed to, but great response there from Existence to put themselves, well, for the second time today, in the lead after the first round. With, I guess, is this a trend that's going to continue? I guess we'll see if G2 can probably won't try that level of aggression, at least immediately, again.
Could have been a great push if it worked, and looked promising enough, bringing the Ying for a specific reason to have that push in. I love the little fact of opening up the window for the Ying, and it was looking really good, but then straight away, Karibo, he was onto it.
Yeah, that was the thing about it. Was able to kind of shut it down as soon as it kind of worked out what the strategy was. And again, G2 have done these kind of moves before. It's in a weird way, it's not predictable, but you kind of expect to see it at least once a game. And went better than the first round. So as soon as they kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together, great response there, as I said, from Existence to shut it down. We're going to head downstairs to the kitchen, the complete opposite side of this point. And I guess we'll see if G2 are a little bit more metered with their approach this time.
Attackers have located a bomb.
kitchen, which is it's a tricky one if you look at it in terms of the operators that kind of need to be chosen. I feel Maestro is always a bit of a must pick, and there is different areas that you can play your Maestro. Sometimes we see an extension in towards Bakery, which is kind of my preferred standpoint, is where you would have the wall being opened up, creates a rotation hole, then you'd have like a Maestro playing in behind the display unit, and of course have a shield there as well. You have a Maestro camera on the wall beside you, and it's really difficult to try and break down, if there is no Capital, but whenever there is Capital on the board, Existence then they're going to go for probably, kind of phase 2, which is play your Maestro inside. You can have your Maestro cameras kind of scattered around. Even sometimes we still see Maestro cameras being placed outside in Bakery just to get a bit of information and perhaps get some damage on somebody. And also, vertical games. So Existence are looking to try and battle back against G2 if they try and opt for it, which looks to be that G2 probably are going to go for that standpoint whenever they're all going up towards the rooftop. They have, of course, the Buck there, and that's going to probably try and rotate downstairs and open up as much as he can of the floor. And that's the big thing about Kitchen is the destructibility above it. It's stupid. There's so many things that the attacking team can open up, and it comes down to see how well your roamers can try and stop that.
Well, being slow and steady so far, and G2 are just making sure that their ground is clear before they throw themselves into it. Uno and Kanto, the physical bodies inside this top third floor, trying to get a bit of control as they start to close down. Maestro, you can see his gun is just angled up pretty consistently and pretty primarily. A little bit of a late round evil eye there to keep more of a kind of concern. Maybe forgot it in lieu of the vertical play, and is back to his watch for the bat signal. Wispy, in the meantime, is being droned out and holding on to the other side. They do have half of that wall slightly open. Not enough to do a quick rush, but enough to keep an angle and just slow the roll on their approach and see if they can keep a bit of control. Barrage, as we said, who had an amazing game in the previous one, is also looking for this vertical. They know how they want to shut this down, and they know they want to do it before G2 start to find their feet close to the point. Kuribo, in the meantime, buried in the small bakery and keeping himself nice and warm against the many delicious pastries as he looks for someone to kill on that red corridor.
See if Kuribo can try and do something. And he's in a great position. Whenever nobody's pushing Bakery and he has that control of red stairs, then it could be tricky for G2 to try and push him out. But say that, here comes some men looking to hunt in towards the Bakery, looking to get their pastries for today. But only thing they'll find is Lonely Bandit by himself. And still a C4 in hand, which he could toss out and try and help, and just trying to peek around. But a minute to go. G2, they need to try and get things moving here, and say that, there goes Pengu with the first kill from above, and Kuribo now being pressured in. He feels as if he can't go any further, but it's a great angle being held by Pengu to try and stop him from rotating back in, and still G2 trying to push in, but still upstairs control has not been confirmed by G2 as Juke has managed to take it back, but finally Kuribo is off the board. Now the Thermite can try and push on in, but with 30 seconds need to be quick. There's Wispy upstairs and he whiffed all his shots. That should have been a sure kill, and that's sloppy from Legion.
Yeah, and it's just showing that G2 are finally able to get themselves a bit more of a semblance of control. Just Juke and Barrage, who we've often seen being the last two left in a fight against a pretty overwhelming force right now. Still a whole mess of utility in the hands of G2 as they finally crack another wall open from that bakery side. They roam in, but Barrage isn't quite having Fabian yet. Goga is getting a bit of bloody revenge now, and it is just the one Jaeger left. Often on the roam, concerned about the top floor, but doesn't have to be, because Goga is furious in this kitchen. Like Gordon Ramsay himself.
You big fan of Gordon Ramsay?
Goga Ramsay. I want those memes. Edit them now.
You just don't demand Twitch chat like that.
No, I'm demanding you.
You have to me do it? No.
I thought you loved making memes.
No, because it's not the high tier that I'm looking for.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry that was a low tier meme.
It was a low tier. Keep trying. You'll get there eventually.
One day. Kitchen service we're going to return to for the second time now. X6 going to try potentially a slightly different hold here instead. Maybe, I don't know, obviously we saw the Legion get into a situation where, as you said, he really should have got that frag.
Mm-hmm. That could have turned the tides. Because not only does that give Wispy the option to still play upstairs and use the vertical holes that, well, Pengu had already made previously, but it also then limits G2 on their control over red stairs. That means they don't know if Wispy will then rotate down the red stairs and try and eliminate them from that standpoint. And it means that they have to push somebody else over towards that point. So it wasn't a big, important kill to kind of turn the round away for Existence. But G2 won that 1v1 from there. It was simple enough to have all the ankles covered. Of course, then Goga could rotate down red stairs and put more pressure in towards the back end of the kitchen, in towards B. And we're going to go kitchen again for Existence. So there was a little bit of roam game, which was shut down from G2 quite quickly as soon as they got that one kill onto Pengu. I think we still need to see some more of that from Existence. They need to try and keep the pressure on G2, because if they can eliminate certain factors, and you know, if they eliminated Pengu, which they did last time, it helped them a lot going into the round. You know, they don't have to worry about somebody playing above. It kind of gives your anchors a little bit more movement. Even, yes, the holes are going to be open above, but then you expect that Pengu's dead, nobody's going to be there. Everybody else is going to be rotating and trying to push towards the site.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about it is we've already kind of commented on the call and response methodology behind these two teams and how it's been quite integral in the rounds that were taken in the first time round. And again, you can see Karibo's playing at least more aggressive than he was before. Wispy, in the meantime, has dropped on the opposite end, is playing back downstairs and not going to be caught out on that rotate just yet. Wesker, similar kind of location, and was the first drop in the previous round, and you never really want your Maestro in point to be the first deaths. Wispy again, he's looking for a little bit more this time round from this side. Pops a pre-fire against the hole, there no one exists yet, but it's only a matter of time as we see the man droning on the other side of the door. Duke has rotated back round, and again, so has Karibo. They've all generally dropped down to the point, and now, yet again, watching the skies and seeing if they can catch any birds.
Catch a penguin.
Penguin?
That's a bird.
Can they fly?
Can they? They kinda.
If
they can kinda fly.
If they're thrown really hard.
Well, yeah, suppose if you just launch it into the air, but you know, penguins are penguins.
Maybe we shouldn't mention siege players and throwers.
You know, and that's how Guinness is made, of course.
That is true. Kanto is breaking open that main door from Garage now as they try and creep closer, but Kuribo is actually the one, and he does find the bird through the in the sky. Pengu suffers the instant fate, and a big loss there yet again as the buck is taken out of the equation. So far hasn't quite been able to win that vertical battle. You can see G2 are realigning their stars and trying to find another way through this bakery, as it was their systematic close down last time. They're confident now with the shutdown that they've done across the top floors, and are just going to try and take this as a horizontal battle.
Fabian now opens up the wall, and interesting, Fabian and Goga have switched up roles compared to how they were playing in Pro League, because it was always Goga was the Thermite and Fabian was the Thatcher. Curious to see why they've changed up those roles, because Goga was literally the Thermite guy. Only Thermite.
It's so defining on the role where it is the Thermite, like Goga stat is how many times you can get the diffuser down. You know, and I guess it's nice to see them trying to, as I said at the very beginning of this, they were in a bit of a slump, and for them to go back to the drawing board and try and reinvent themselves and try new strategies, because that was what they flirted and floated with at the very beginning, and what made them such a dominating force. Swings close and pre-fires, and finally finds him, does he? Gets the trade. Wesker and Goga and Barrows, and Kanto and Uno managed to put it a little bit back in their semblance, trying to get the diffuser down. Wispy has to move a little bit closer, finds one on the back stairs. That's Uno, but it's now a post-plant situation with the angle covered. Whoa! Gets Kanto with an amazing swing. And now it is the IGL versus Wispy. The IGL of IGL swings wide and open and cuts that Legion in half. Brilliant play there from G2 to pull it together in the dying throes of the round, but so close from the Legion to find his joy back from the previous round.
Yeah, Fabian is, of course, the clutch god of Cafe. If I turn your attention towards Sisu game, back then and played in number 11. Where did you see that round where he was the bandit and he clutched like a 1v4? 1v3, whoever it was. It was,
top quality.
Unbelievable.
Top bins.
Just in his tweet after.
I think I did. Bar and Cocktail. We're going to rotate back to the top floor, which was Existence's win. I don't think we're going to see a Ying rush again.
No,
I have a feeling.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think we're going to see something that is more similar to what we've seen. And saying that, look at how balanced G2 are being. They're getting all the information they need. They're setting themselves up. They're doing the internal clear, and they've lost the man whilst doing it so far. But so far now, it's getting themselves on that execute and making it work as they have done so beautifully so far.
Existence, back upstairs to Bar, which I wouldn't say they had that much issue with whenever it was a very weird G2 strategy that they tried to prevail with. This time for Existence, they're going up against a much more standard lineup from G2. I think it's going to be your basic open up hatches, yes, try and get a pick from hatches or skylight, move down, open up the breach in towards red stairs, and of course open up the piano, clear piano, finally push in, open up freezer, and there you go. You're in the bomb site, you've killed everybody, you planted the bomb, G2 win.
Yep.
That's how it should go, but I don't think it's going to be that simple.
Well, Wispy's trying to put as many bullets into that barricade before it cracks as possible, setting themselves up with a generally similar hold as they had before. Now, one of the things that we said they did brilliantly was respond to what G2 was bringing, and I guess they're expecting a slower and steadier push, so can they find more semblance of a balance? They have the same myriad and mix of ACOGs and information as they bought previously. Wesker's still not happy with the feng shui of that ADS, consistently moving it inside Piano, and at this point, Barrage is trying to hold across the balconies in the big open space and see if they can catch anyone that drops down. There's a camera party on the roof here, though.
Yeah, everybody's just on the drones.
Just on the phones, mate.
Looking for anything. Watching the stream. Maybe they're on their new Strafe app.
Maybe. Putting in their predictions for the game, which you guys can do on Strafe, on your mobiles. In the meantime, Wesker drops Uno and Kanto finds the refrag. That's the Maestro off the board. No, it's not even. It's the Jaeger off the board. In fact, my mistake, as Kanto starts clearing across and finding control of Piano. They have a couple of sightlines still breaking across this Christmassy room, and they're trying to get that little reinforced wall out of the door and find the person behind it, and almost do with a beautiful combination of Zephyr and Thermite, but no luck, and they just force him back further, and they are free to take a little bit more real estate than they've ever had on this top floor.
Pengu can easily wide swing and try and get something on the board. You know, he has that C8 ready to rock and roll, and well, Juki's managed to rotate from below and right back up in towards the white stairs, and I think they're going to try and use Pengu to try and nade him out. That would be the most logical thing. If they try and rotate him around, it means that white stairs isn't going to be an issue, but still Karibo, you know, playing inside of bathroom could be an issue because that shotgun up close and personal can kill anybody if you believe in it. But Pengu just holding flank. I'd like to see him more aggressive here. Whenever he has a great gun compared to, you know, like having Goga swing around with the L8, you clearly want the C8. But still nothing happened for G2. They know they have control of the Piano, and now they move into stage 2, which of course is going to be open up the wall. Still one EMP left, but I wonder if Kite has another Electro Claw, because that would be the big thing, but instead breaching in towards the soft wall beside them. Pengu deep in sight now, but like we talked about, the shotgun inside the bathroom will fire on true, and Barrage comes round, and yeah, again, the smoke, that's well better from Existence.
That is well better. They shut it down, they had the angles covered, and they were happy to close down. They obviously gave the real estate over, and allowed G2 into Piano and Cigar, and then from that point on, they just kind of, yeah, they got themselves sorted and ready to be able to pull them apart 2-2. They've won that point twice now, and they are not going to opt for Kitchen, the point that they lost twice, and that's fair enough. So far, they've been pretty clinical in their take of it. Reading Room and Fireplace we head to next.
First Reading Room now for Existence. Kitchen, not of course working out for them. Last time they played at twice times, they lost at both.
Wait a second.
Pretty easy.
This is a G2 Existence map, and we're seeing a third point. Weird.
Is it?
Yeah, we only saw 2 points in the previous map.
Is Cafe though, where I would say for bomb sites, you know, it's a stretch to call it, I would say, great. I would call it okay.
Okay.
There's potential, but I still feel my main kind of worries about the B bomb site especially is the fact that it's so easy for teams to literally walk in and have a blind spot plant. That's the only thing that I kind of worry about.
Like 7 out of 10 kind of point.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Chat,
So,
what do we think? Third bomb site, rate out of 10.
Rate out of 10.
10 being top floor. What's 0 in this map?
On this map,
Yeah.
Original Kitchen.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So 0 being original kitchen, and 10 being the top floor. What would we rate the Reading Room out of? How good of a bomb site is it?
Well, they're setting up their angles and trying to hold the top floor with a bit more fruition than they've otherwise done when it's not been this point. Wispy, who's had a pretty good time certain rounds and a pretty rubbish time others, is going to be ready to try and use those lesions to get some early information and find a way to close down against G2. Otherwise, a lot of activity on the floor itself. Duke, again, who's been pretty hefty on the roam game, is ready to try and support, and we can only assume the players underneath are using some vertical tricks and shenanigans that have otherwise been a pretty good wheelhouse. There they are. Barrage opening up with the Maestro and letting himself have some angles against it. I guess we'll see. Obviously, we've already talked about G2 kind of swapping around operators, and we've said Existence haven't been doing it a huge amount last time we talked about it, but so far we've seen them juggle a couple. Obviously, Maestro is now in the hands of Barrage, who's, as we said, have a pretty fantastic opening so far. quick rush and quick clear here against this piano side as they try and dig their way across the room, get the same control they had before, and maybe make something of it this time around, with Pengu ready to anvil against the hammer that is slowly careening towards him. See if they can pinch and pincher out the two bodies upstairs.
G2 taking their time now because they know they have plenty of it. Whenever they're this close to the bomb site already without even actually getting inside it, yeah, they're looking good. You know, G2 have taken things much slower compared to what we can expect from them, where they can be very aggressive whenever they have those great fraggers. But certainly, I kind of think the switch of having Fabian and Firma has helped them out in terms of their time management, because he knows himself, you know, when he needs to get the plant down. Sloppy droning, however, from G2 has meant that Kanto has taken an early snooze in this round, but still, refrags there from Uno, and that's the companionship that we expect from the two Finns.
Well, the drone comes across. They've obviously traded at this point, but they've still got a little bit of work left to do, G2, before they can get themselves fully comfortable. And with the minute now passing, its time is getting thinner and thinner. You can see that they've still got a bit of a hold upstairs, and it's whether they've actually spotted the man dug in towards that kind of vault side, or they're just going to kind of leave him there. He's rotating around the back corridor at this point, pushing against Uno. There are the spots. Duke is now instantly being shut down upon from both sides by the G2 players. They realize they've got to get the man, and Pengu does it with style. Uno also finds Wesker underneath the drop down 4-2 with 40 seconds, spots the man on the drone, and then just drops him again in the same place. 2 for 2. And that is G2.
That's Uno right there. Uno just walking in, taking what he wants. 4K for him. Yeah, that's some great going from Uno especially. So now that leaves G2 3-2 so far. Could be a 4-2. And if they take the 4-2 then, Fluke, they have to then win this map, because Cafe defense, we know, is extremely strong. Not for Existence, but it is G2's map, and you know they're playing a lot more efficiently. You know, I said this, we still have yet to see Existence in their attack, because we can kind of take points from Clubhouse. We kind of expect Clubhouse to be a very defender-sided map, but in reality, the attacks had everything going for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it, is obviously what we saw today from G2, at least in terms of Clubhouse, was their attacks were their stronger side. The defenses kind of fell apart to what was a very metered and balanced push from Existence, but at the same time, this is their map, this is where they're more comfortable. They have always been a team that can kind of lead meta changes and the creativity that you can kind of bring to the meta, and having that on defense on a fresh map is something that can really play in their favor. From that point onwards, obviously, we've also got to give credit to Existence. As I said, they were very, very good on their attacks, and they were pretty, you know, well put together and could read into what G2 were doing at points and able to find holes in it. So they might be able to bring a bit of a fight on the other side. So if this is 3-3, who knows how the rest of this can go. But for one final time, let's see how it goes on this side. Pengu wasting no time and running over roofs and trying to get his boots dirty as he finds his way towards a point.
So G2, line up. A bit more aggression, as Uno's now off the IQ, which really IQ hasn't had to do much in terms of her scanning device. Whenever Echo, of course, is banned, and the Valkyrie cameras really haven't came into that much of an impact against G2. Instead, he's going to be on the Ash. He's looking for kills. He's looking hungry, and of course, the R4C can reign true, whoever commands at the helm. So G2 now, they head in towards, yet again, another mid-floor that they have to attack, and it's going to be fairly standard. The same thing where they take control of upstairs first of all. They push in, of course, from red, which is kind of where every attack form from is taken, the hatches, and then pushing down in. Then they're going to have to move in towards the bar cocktail. There's going to be 2 defenders upstairs, fully reinforced off. So there's not that much peeking potential, however, for the man playing in the back of Cocktail Lounge, and now Pan go over towards the east windows. Only thing he has to worry about is a quick jump out or a quick run out from either window or door on the east side. Whenever Nomad is non-existent on the lineups, then you always have to be cautious about that.
Well, the drones are coming in. It's been a very big part of G2 so far as they get themselves more of this vertical control, and they're using the utility to do it, but that's always fair. Yet again, Pengu has set himself up as the anvil as the rest of the team hammer towards him and try and funnel and force those defenders into his gunfire, as Kanto just goes for the quick and blazing clear. Hits the flashbang on the ADS, and Wispy is the one to open up the frags, drops Uno from underneath. And yet again, Existence really flexing over that vertical play that has been such a big part of their performance so far. The drones are back out in the favor of Kanto as they look for some bodies, and you got to remember how big Uno was the last time round we were pushing this point. Managed to get his K just from pushing against the point. But now it's seeing if they can find some more bodies before they start their downward descent.
A bomb has been located.
So they've lost Uno, who had a big say in the last round, of course, had some great moments. Kanto's dropped straight down in towards Pillars, and see if he can get something on the board, which he will begin with as a kill on Wispy. Also gets rid of the Maestro camera, that's why Sophia's a great counter to that operator. Still has concussions as well, he can fire on in to try and stun anybody who may be lurking inside of Laundry or even just immediately inside the bomb site. Rest of G2 now starting to collapse and push their way down, but Barrage, I think that's a kill through the holes in the floor, will land on to Pengu, and now G2, yeah, again, another deficit. Let's see if Cantho Ricchetti, the main man to watch here, if he can pull this back.
Well, there is someone lurking on the stairs behind Pillars, and there is the backup. Rotates round yet again. It's Duke that has been doing this so continually throughout this game. Ready for the man to drop on the other side of Pillars as well. Goga finds Wesker on the meantime, and there goes Duke. Quick frags and quick bodies, but they have to get in, and they have to get this diffuser down. Gonna try and blind block. If they can swing round and stop the plant in progress, sees the man. Now it's just a matter of sticking it. Smoke pushes hard and pushes in fast and finds the frag. Brilliant clutch there from Karibo to find the body just in time, a split second the other way, and that could have been G2's.
Yeah, so that time, Existence, they were always moving around, always keeping G2 on their toes, and G2 kind of fell into the bait. They tried to rotate in towards Train, even though that wasn't really the area that Existence was trying to defend. You know, they were all about holding down in towards the Pillars. I thought it was a great rotation from, of course, the Jaeger. Surprised they lost that gunfight against Fabian, and that should have been done. But still, I thought, you know, the rotations was really great from Existence. We need to highlight always keeping G2 and not really knowing where the defenders are going to be, because you only drone a certain amount of time in a round before you really need to start pushing in. You know, we've seen there was 30 seconds before anything was really starting to form for G2, and it came right down to the wire. So maybe some poor time management there, perhaps from G2, that's kind of cost them quite a bit. And it's not the first time, though, this evening that we've kind of seen this. It has been a very common thing.
Yeah, their time management has often struggled sometimes, and especially when Existence managed to just, as soon as they look like they're set up and ready to go for a push, Existence pull just one bolt out of the kind of machine, and that time it was Duke rotating around and getting Kanto. Great work to then get pick up on the refrag, but that's a precious 10 seconds that would otherwise, and an operator obviously, that would otherwise be just completely decisive in that final push time. Now we head up to Bar. G2 currently don't have a very good record up here this game so far, but this is their first time defending it, and I guess we'll see if they can defend it better than they can attack it. At the same time, Existence bringing what was a fairly similar loadout. The first time we've seen Gridlock in this map too, and again that is completely for the control of those stairs, those roamers, and those rotations that can otherwise be pretty brutal across this map. You've always got to keep an eye, as we've just seen from the work of Duke, and if you don't, well, things start to go very wrong very quickly.
A lot of pressure now on the shoulders of Existence. I think that G2 can kind of relax a little bit more. They know they have the defense, which gives you a lot of breathing room in Cafe. That's why it's so strong. You know, many of the times we've seen a 6-0 or a 5-1.5 from a lot of defense teams, and honestly, I could see that come out from G2. And whenever Existence, we know, struggle if they kind of lose that first engagement and they slow down and time management kind of gets away from them. Not bringing Nomad, instead the replacement for the kind of flank watch will be in the form of a Gridlock, which I see a lot more common in Cafe compared to Nomad, which we know Nomad can still be a really strong operator of sectioning off the staircases. There's a multitude of those on Cafe, but I like the fact that Gridlock has been prioritized more simply because she has the smoke grenades, which we know is great for giving that cover off and trying to go in for the defuse. And another great point about Gridlock is whenever you're going in for a defuse, you can throw your track stingers to max the sound of the diffuser being planted.
Yeah, it's a great use of the utility, which is kind of multifaceted. In a game that is about sound and can rely on that so delicately, especially when you know you're against a team that can respond very well to that aspect of the game, it just kind of brings a bit more subtlety to what you're doing. And if you can kind of catch G2 by a little bit of surprise, you might be able to find the mile in and amongst it. Wispy worried and dancing on those stairs, maybe accidentally stepped on a Lego as they struggle to try and hold on to the angles below. Goga's ready to try and Kaid trick this wall and keep control, but the drones are are coming out, and there's eyes all over. Uno is underneath with a shotgun too, and I'm waiting to see something pretty aggressive here because still has a signal disruptor in pocket, but most importantly, still has that C4, which is ready, ripped, and torn. No, not quite yet. And it's just going to wait inside this train room completely unchecked.
See if the information will be relayed to him, of course, below with a C4, and nobody from x6tence has bothered to check that, but surely they have to know now as that gets thrown straight up through, and well, there's the collapses. Uno now has to run away, and takes a bit of damage for his troubles, but still it wastes time now for x6tence, and they need as much as they can with only 40 seconds left, and still no kill on either side. It's gonna get tight. It's gonna get fast and furious and heavy and sweaty and everything in between.
Well, here come those track stingers. Just misses the swing, but there is the smoke canister we talked about, and Maestro gets dropped. In the meantime, they have all fallen in amongst this hatch and found their way to a lot of bodies. There's another shutdown in x6tence with a flawless attacking round and 100% record on this bar point.
Wow, x6tence. They just went, guys, we have 30 seconds left. Let's go. Vamos, I believe, is what we would say let's go in Spanish.
Vamos, vamos, and they vamos with the best of them.
Yep.
And they kind of demonstrated how you do those last-minute shutdowns. And they've, you know, whether it's just G2 struggling with that top point and how to hold it and how to move amongst it with their play style, or it's just that's what x6tence have been running in the practice room. Either way, they've put themselves a point up now, and we're going to opt to go back to bar. Another trip. And G2 at this point seem determined to at least pull something from this cocktail lounge.
Top floor once more for G2, and still bringing that mute, which I like the idea of the mute for kind of holding that piano whenever there's a lot of drones that kind of come in towards that side of things. You want to try and limit that information gathering as much as you can. Kaid still being picked up. And even on Clubhouse, we haven't seen one Kaid be successful. I think we've seen one bandit trick be successful, and that's it.
Yeah, they're kind of doubling down on it. Obviously, you've still got that beast of a gun in the hands of Goga right now, which, as we said, can play very well into the EU playstyle of holding angles and waiting for them to kind of push against you and then being able to get aggressive with it if you need to, especially when we're seeing a lot of multifaceted, multi-story plays from the teams as well. They're knocking through multiple floors, holding the angle, trying to get tricks and trying to get heads, and this is a good gun for doing that because of the precision it can offer, because of the damage it can offer as well. I guess it's just seeing if they can find it used and useful in and amongst the playstyle. Uno's actually opened some more sightlines this time. They know he's going to be around in the train room, and doesn't look like they're immediately trying to deal with him at this point, heading up to the top floor and going for a similar push and close down as they did before. M870 Pengu Jaeger, I think, is one of those decisions where you look and you go, huh? And you go, how are they going to do this?
This is the Feral thing. I don't know why Feral started this trend. Like, we've seen Kendra use this as well, and now Pengu has it.
Feral, arguably biggest brain player.
No, let's not big him up as much as it needs to be.
Feral, best
If he was that big brain, he wouldn't be staring down the barrels defeating Challenger League, would he?
Okay, you don't have to bring up his personal history right now.
Yeah, I'm going for him. I'll go all in on Feral.
Secret Boys, I love you if you're listening. Now, in the meantime, Duke is looking to try and get a body from this drop down. Wispy as well, vice versa. They want to try and shut the man down on the top of the red staircase. They've also traxed it and gridlocked it as well. Concerned in the angle there. We talked about the multi-stories that these teams can use, and Uno shows that there is no limit to that. SMG-11 across 3 stories and a body. Unbelievable movement, pulls right out of there. He's done his job with Buck off the board, throws down a celebratory signal disruptor, and rotates back to the safety of point.
Just individual plays just stand out so much, I feel, from G2 than any other team. And whenever they kind of go off in those massive plays, it just makes them feel as if they're always in control. And, well, they need to be. They need to try and get that back, because at the moment, of course, they're losing. Still only around in it. And if they can try and pull a couple of defenses around them, we can expect G2 to kind of steamroll, because this is kind of the same position they were at in the last time whenever, of course, they played x6tence Clubhouse in the last map not too long ago. And now G2 trying to sit firm, trying to hold tight, but still x6tence, trying to pressure as much as they can. They still have gridlock alive, so there can be smoke grenades being tossed in. And of course, still concussions from the Sophia that needs to be utilized, but I feel as if the kind of setup that they have it's a kind of a makeshift thing, and it should be stopped pretty easily by G2, and especially if Uno was lurking right underneath the skylight, ready to go, and been able to kill anybody who drops in there as the shotgun fires on through, and that shows why you don't use that gun, as it's been eliminated. Gogo at C4, and like we said, yeah, just lining up now for Uno. Does get eliminated still, but pretty much a 1v2. Juk trying to go in hard, but not enough time, and not enough anything. It's G2, they lock that out.
Bring it back to 4-4, managed to get the one surprise down inside, but couldn't quite find the lock off there as Kanto had the angle. It just shows how integral that one initial pick can be in just completely pulling apart a team, because from then on it was trade for trade for trade. It was man to man, cover to cover, which is, you know, the semblance of a great team, but if they still had the frag grenades of Buck, if they still had the gun pointing the right way and the one more body to trade out, could Existence have been able to find more semblance? At least in the books of G2, they leave the cocktail lounge shaken, but not quite stirred, and instead we're going to opt down to the kitchen service, and I'll see if their first floor can be as, I guess, well as it was on their attack rounds.
Existence again. Whenever they lose that first engagement, it just crumbles. Everything goes out of sync. They start trying to rely on simply out-fragging G2, which, yes, they've been doing great things of doing so, but it's G2. It's Uno, who is a bit of a mad one, I would say, this series, specifically.
I mean, that's the thing about Uno, is when everyone kind of commented on him joining the team and they said, well, what can he bring? And a lot of people who knew the stats and knew the capabilities of the player were like, well, he's going to bring a lot of frags, a lot of that kind of aggressive potential. And they said, well, they've got Kanto and they've got Pangu and they've got those operators. And say, yeah, but they can rotate to other operators, they can rotate to roles. What G2 have that a lot of other tiers don't is this depth of balance of their star striker can play centre-back if you need him to.
Yeah, wow, a 4-4 scoreline for G2. Is this a downfall of G2? Are they saving strats? Is Uno the problem? We know what is going on here, but one thing is for sure, G2 never lost a game for 13 months straight. How can you doubt the undisputed king, the two-time world champion?
There's a lot of slogans and phrases you put in there.
That's a nice little copy pasta for you guys.
Talking of, Uno is holding this top angle and waiting for someone to come across this P10 Roni sightline, but no dice, unfortunately. Kanto is on the backside as well. They're both covering that top floor for now and seeing if they can catch someone out. There is a Lion as the big change. First time we've seen a Lion today so far. Going to try and keep a bit of control on what has been some pretty fluid movements in the feet of G2 as they steadily and slowly try and crack open this top floor. Obviously, the Lion was the 6th pick as well, so yeah, as they just slaughter a couple of drones to get thrown in at unfortunate timing, they aren't quite aware of this, and if they can utilize this first E1D well, if the thick man can get through the small hole, they might be able to find something pretty brutal out of this. Barosh is going to rotate underneath, playing the gridlock. Hasn't been so influential on these attack rounds so far, but is more than capable, and Pengu playing the reverse side of the shield there, waiting to cover and swing around at anyone that might enter close.
Still slow enough for Existence. So they're trying to clear from top down, and Kanto is going to be the man that they need to find out. Of course, this is exactly where Jackal would be great, but G2, they banned that operator for a specific reason, so they know it allows their roamers to have much more freedom, and instead Existence have hit the panic button, and Lion comes out to play. And yeah, this is an operator that was definitely the bane of G2 for a very long time. They were one of the teams that had a big say in, you know, how strong G2 really are whenever they constantly ban that Lion out. Shows how prowess that operator is, and, well, there you go. Kanto gets his own back against that operator with an easy frag on to Wispy, and I feel, Fluke, that a minute gone, they've lost a player. They're only starting to use their verticality now. This is going to be another G2 lockout.
Well, that's the thing. As we've already said about Existence, when they lose that first body, everything seems to start to fall apart from that point onwards. The kind of balance of when they've got the opening frags, usually they've been able to clutch out the round. G2, there's only once or twice where it's gone the other way round, and even then it came down to the wire. But Barrage is going to hold the angle as the tracks keep spinning and churning and creating more and more out there, as Fabian is just waiting on the angle with the ACOG ready to swing round and try and find the body at the moment's notice. They've generally filtered in and flooded across this train room as the frag grenade goes a bit awry there and doesn't quite find the marker as they swing straight to the drop down and hatch, and they want to, I guess, get a bit of pressure here. And with only 10 seconds left on the board, if they're going to do it, they've got to do it now. Duke and Wesker close down against Pengu on the far side. They still have the soft wall and they still have the ability to swing around. A body goes down inside. Uno finds one with the shotgun, and there is another body dropped. Goga finds two, and Fabian brings G2 to their first flawless round of the day.
G2, they get that opening frag and everything just falls into place for them. Existence, they can never pull it back. I don't know what it is about this team, but as soon as they go that man down, it's really disappointing to watch. A team which we kind of, you know, pitch to have great attacks, especially if you look at their clubhouse, but as soon as they just one thing goes out of sync, it just falls apart. Sad to see, really is.
Well, that's the thing. They've had a really, really good showing so far today, and I think if they can find a little bit of a foot inside the building, they might then be able to find more bodies behind that at this point. But again, it's the ability of G2 to kind of throw someone to the opposite side of the map and for them to turn the favor to them at the very beginning. Obviously, we saw it on the previous round, before the one we just watched, of Uno from deep in train, getting a body right on the roof, and then that time it was Kanto on the far side, dropping the lion, and you know, that kind of ability to not only then do that maneuver, but then have the freedom and the sense and the cover to be able to then get back to the point and back to the rest of the team, where we saw the pretty explosive end of that top floor bar round with bodies traded on either side. And you know, from that point onwards, I guess it's just seeing if they can find that first lone man Existence, if they can shut that down with a bit more vim and vinegar, it could at least swing around their favor.
10 seconds left.
A lot of information being brought by G2 this time with the addition of the Pulse.
5 seconds.
So Pulse can be kind of used as like a substitution to Valkyrie. It helps a lot with the kind of denial you get with the C4, of course, and that constant information that you can get. But Pulse is going to be a little bit more trickier to gain information compared to a camera where you can just throw it and leave it there and hop it on. It's a constant thing that you have to have with your Pulse. And not only that, is whenever you have your cardiac scanner out, you are very prone to just being pushed on. You know, you don't have enough time to go for that quick switch. Chance of quick swap is back into the game, which, you ever play with a quick swap with Pulse?
No, I can't say I have.
Oh my, you literally used to like insta-switch onto your gun.
Yeah, I do actually remember that. I kind of blocked it out there. I remember playing actually the beta at a convention, and Pulse's scanner was blue and gave a full outline of the operator. It wasn't just a heartbeat, and that was an absolute nightmare, and I'm so glad that never made it through all the way. Putting pressure against this drop down, Lion is back on the board, but it's not as subtle this time, it's not the surprise, and hopefully can be able to, I guess, slow the tide of G2 that are very fluid around this map so far. They're trying to get this opening red wall open, find their way across the piano, gonna drone it, gonna flash it, and gonna drop in, but Pengu is there and just waits and baits Wispy, and that is one taken off, dug into the cigar cupboard, and now is just waiting for a second victim to fall into his cage.
Kanto adds on also to the tally, another one for him. The Finns starting to wake up after a mediocre performance to this point. So now G2 starting to work their way into yet again another extension of their lead and Existence. Both of them, final remaining members, Karibo and Juk. Just also bashes the Sugan prone in. I don't think that matters, does it, Fluke?
I mean, it's subtle and it's sneaky, sure, but they're not really close to you right now, and well, Uno doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's just going to hold the angle, aggressively peek it. They have all the information, and there is almost another body, but is able to just get out of there. But here comes the close down. 3 different staircases, 3 different sides, 3 different guns, and 1 single result. As G2 take another flawless, their second of today, and put themselves on match point for the second time today.
Just seen it was a pack of wolves hunting their prey. Lonely Duke left for dead. So now Existence. Where do we go from here? Exact same scenario as what we seen last time. You know, we seen Existence pull back, they were leading 4-3, and then it's changed up, and now G2 6-4 in the lead. And I just feel as if it's going to go into their way once more.
Well, I guess the one kind of saving grace they have to look at this is they're heading back to Bar. They've won 3 of the 4 visits here so far. If Existence are going to take a point, statistically, this is the one that G2 have struggled on most so today. But at the same time, you've got to kind of try and find a way to, as we said, stop what G2 are doing, because they've garnered and gotten more and more confidence. And it was a similar story in the first game, where at the beginning, at the turn of the half, it was a 3-3. Then they got one round into it, Existence, and then from then on it has been a complete G2 sweep, once as the defenders and once as the attackers. I guess it just shows a semblance of them maybe warming up to what Existence are doing, reading how they like to play and reading who they need to take care of, and then from that point on they just turn on the G2 button.
G2 on the cusp of not only map point, but also series point to send them into, of course, the quarterfinals.
Seconds left.
And we expected, I think honestly we expected more of G2 this time around, Fluke.
Kinda, because you've got to look at this other way as well. Yes, if G2 win this, that's a 2-0. It's been a bit of a tough 2-0, but it's a 2-0. They've got BDS on their side of the bracket. That's a BDS that is in very, very good form right now.
That's the match that we're kind of pitching to happen. We expect BDS to have a good run in their side of things, especially with the performance that they've been putting on inside of Challenge League, which has been nothing short of stunning. And for G2, that's going to be a bit of a redemption match, because the history with Shaiko and this team, it goes, you know, 2 years in the making so far, and then the fact that BDS went and beat them at Montreal really put the headlights on it. Again, another chance that G2 had to make it into Invite. They fell short there. Not even short, they fell a long way from there.
Yeah, it wasn't the best kind of run, as you said. I mean, one of the fun facts, I say, but probably not fun for G2 fans out there, is that this is the first open qualifier they've had to play for a long, long period of time. You know, so it just kind of shows the swing of the team, and it shows the swing of what was a, you know, complete dominating team from the highs of that Paris major to where they kind of fell a little bit now, but I guess we'll see if they can bring themselves back, and they are more than capable of doing it. And every team knows that about the team as well. The Bandit Trick and the Smokes keep Kuriboh at bay, as it just zaps the man and zaps his toys too. There's a fair bit of damage suffered on the pair of them. They frag grenade down, but the bullets just swing in against the butt. Kanto Raketi from the floor below and inside the pillars finds another body. Kuriboh at least finds a trade against the smoke of Pengu that has otherwise been pretty fantastic in these defensive rounds, and now it's just a matter of seeing if they can move with this momentum.
It doesn't even matter what they do unless they take care of Uno, who is just on a rampage, just being able to walk up red stairs with nobody covering that. Existence, are you feeling okay? And Uno has just put the final nail in the coffin in Existence while they're about to be sent to the grave.
Loading new mag.
While holding the angle and sitting with the pulse, there is the tracks, but it doesn't work, and it doesn't matter. They just run in and charge and get the frag. Kanto gets the trade, but Duke gets the trade on the trade as Barrage suffers the fate. It is now Duke versus Goga and Fabian. That is two tough operators to go against, especially with the Maestro cams still getting as much info as they can. With 30 seconds, they have a bit of time to come up with a plan B. Potentially rotate to another side and find another way into this firefight, but realizes they have to just push it, and G2 are not letting them get a step further. A 2-0 from the Titans. Existence put in a very, very good showing, and I guess they move forward one more step.
7-4, 7-4 for G2. 2-0 win, they take that, so congratulations to them. They move on, of course, to the next round. But we're not done here yet, Fluke. There's still so much more Siege. Existence now, they leave us, so the Spanish team, only Spanish team, they're gone.
Well, at least there was a Spaniard in the team that beat them. But as we said, yeah, there's the first best of 3 today. They move forward in the bracket, and who they're going to be playing next is what we're going to find out next. And I think if we were to have a look at a game that's going to be quite tight, this is potentially one. Trust Gaming versus Team Auglis. However, you're going to have to wait just a little bit for that, as we're going to go on a quick break. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.